found out my boyfriend hired a prostitute. What do? It felt like any other Tuesday. Mark was running late again. Sorry, babe, conference call ran over, he mumbled, pecking me on the cheek as he grabbed a yogurt from the fridge. I was already halfway through my morning routine, sketching out concepts for a new website design. We'd been together 5 years. 5 years of Tuesdays that felt mostly like this one, a comfortable, predictable rhythm. Later that evening, I settled into the couch to pay bills. We had a joint account, mostly for rent, utilities, and the occasional weekend getaway. That's when I saw them. 2 withdrawals, both coded with cryptic abbreviations I didn't recognize: ADV Consulting and Strat Solutions, both for unsettlingly precise amounts $780 and $925. I made a mental note to ask Mark about them later. Probably some work thing, I told myself. Hey, those withdrawals on the joint account, ADV Consulting and Strat Solutions, what were those for? I asked casually over dinner at our usual Italian place on Thursday. Mark's face tightened slightly. Oh, that? Yeah, those were client entertainment. You know, whining and dining. Big project coming up, had to grease the wheels. He avoided my gaze, swirling the wine in his glass a little too vigorously. Something felt off. Mark was usually more forthcoming, especially about work. Finance was his world, and he usually loved to bore me with details of mergers and acquisitions. But this was vague, evasive. I confided in Chloe, my best friend, over brunch on Saturday. He said client entertainment, but it just felt fishy, like he was hiding something. Chloe, never one to mince words, raised an eyebrow. Fishy how? Like stripper fishy, or embezzling fishy? I laughed, but a knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. I don't know, I trust him, I think, but something feels different lately. He's been working longer hours, seems stressed, and he's always on his phone. Chloe took a long sip of her mimosa. Okay, here's what you do. Casually snoop, check his receipts, see if you can find anything else that doesn't add up. I hated the idea of snooping, it felt wrong. But the seed of doubt had been planted. That night, while Mark was in the shower, I glanced at his phone. Nothing obvious. A few work emails, some text from David, his best friend and coworker. I felt a pang of guilt and put the phone back down. I couldn't do this. It wasn't me. Then came the company summer party. Awkward small talk, lukewarm beer, and forced smiles. I was chatting with a woman from accounting when I saw Mark across the room, deep in conversation with David. I started to make my way over, but stopped short when I heard David say, "Dude, that Ava from that website must be making a killing off your stress relief budget. Worth every penny, huh?" He laughed, slapping Mark on the back. Mark's face went white. He glanced around nervously, his eyes landing on me for a split second before quickly looking away. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. Ava, website? What the hell was going on? I made some excuse to the woman I was talking to and excused myself, heading straight to the bathroom. I splashed cold water on my face, trying to process what I just heard. Ava, escort service. The pieces clicked into place with horrifying clarity. The withdrawals, the evasiveness, the stress. I managed to make it through the rest of the party, plastering a fake smile on my face and pretending everything was fine. But inside, I was crumbling. The drive home was silent, tense. I could feel Mark's eyes on me, but I refused to meet his gaze. That night, after Mark had fallen asleep, I did something I never thought I was capable of. I grabbed his laptop, navigated to his browser history, and typed in a few keywords. The escort service David had mentioned popped up immediately. My hands were shaking as I clicked on the link. The website was exactly what I expected, and so much worse. Page after page of women advertising their companionship. I felt sick. I searched for reviews, mentions of Ava. And then I found it, a detailed review, mentioning a recent booking date that coincided perfectly with one of the suspicious withdrawals. The review even mentioned her signature, sent a perfume Mark had inexplicably started complimenting me on recently. I closed the laptop, tears streaming down my face. The evidence was undeniable. Mark had hired a prostitute. He had cheated on me. The next few days were a blur. I barely ate, barely slept. I replayed every conversation, every interaction with Mark in my head, searching for clues I had missed. How could I have been so blind? Was our entire relationship a lie? Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I waited for Mark to come home from work, my hands trembling as I laid out the evidence, the bank statements, the website, the review. He started with denial, of course. "Sarah, you're being crazy. This is all a misunderstanding. Those withdrawals were for," he stammered, searching for an explanation. "Don't even bother," I said, my voice shaking but firm. "I know the truth, Mark. I know about Ava. I know about the escort service. Just tell me why." His face crumpled. "Okay, fine," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "It happened. It was a mistake. A one-time thing. I was stressed, overwhelmed. I didn't know what else to do. So you hired a prostitute? I asked, the words laced with venom. Instead of talking to me, instead of loving me. It didn't mean anything, he pleaded. It was just sex. I love you, Sarah, you know that, right? Please don't throw away 5 years over one stupid mistake. I stared at him, my heart aching with a pain I had never imagined possible. Get out, I said, my voice barely audible. Just get out. He begged, he cried, he promised to change. But I was done. I couldn't look at him, couldn't breathe the same air as him. He packed a bag and left, leaving me alone in the apartment we had built together, surrounded by memories that now felt tainted and hollow. The days that followed were a roller coaster of emotions. Grief, anger, betrayal, disbelief. Chloe stayed by my side, letting me cry, rant, and question everything. I talked to a therapist who helped me unpack the layers of hurt and confusion. I started exercising again, finding solace in the physical exertion. Mark continued to call, to text, to show up at my work. He was relentless, desperate to win me back. He went to therapy himself, he said. He was finally opening up about his stress, his insecurities. He was changing, he promised. Part of me wanted to believe him. Part of me missed him, missed the comfort and familiarity of our life together. But the other part of me, the part that had been shattered by his betrayal, couldn't forgive him, couldn't forget the image of him with another woman, the lies he had told, the trust he had broken. One evening, Mark showed up at my apartment, holding a bouquet of flowers. Sarah, please, he said, his voice choked with emotion. Just give me another chance. I know I messed up, but I'll do anything to make it right. I'll go to therapy, I'll quit my job, whatever you want. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw the pain in his eyes. But I also saw the weakness, the inability to cope with his problems in a healthy way. I don't know, Mark, I said, my voice tired but resolute. I need time. I need to figure out what I want, what I need. I can't promise you anything. He nodded, his shoulders slumping. Okay, he said, okay. I'll give you space, but I'm not giving up on you. He left the flowers on the doorstep and walked away. I watched him go, a mix of sadness and relief washing over me. A few weeks later, I found a small studio apartment in a different neighborhood. It was smaller than the place Mark and I had shared, but it was mine. I spent the weekend painting the walls, decorating it with things that made me happy. One afternoon, I was sitting on my new couch, sketching in my notebook when my phone rang. It was Mark. I hesitated for a moment before answering. Hey, I said. Hey, he replied, how are you? I'm okay, I said. I'm getting there. There was a long pause. I just wanted to let you know that I'm seeing someone, he said finally. My heart skipped a beat. Oh, I said, trying to sound casual. Okay. Yeah, he said, it's good. She's helping me a lot. That's good, Mark, I said. I'm glad. Another pause. I just wanted you to know that I'll always care about you, Sarah, he said. You were a big part of my life. You too, Mark, I said. You too. We hung up and I sat there for a long time, staring out the window. It was raining, a soft, gentle rain that washed away the dust and grime. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. It was over. The chapter of my life with Mark was closed. It was time to move on, to embrace the future, whatever it might hold. I had no idea what that future looked like, but for the first time in a long time, I felt a sense of hope, a sense of possibility, a sense of freedom. I was scared, yes, but also exhilarated. I opened my eyes and smiled. The rain had stopped, and the sun was starting to peek through the clouds. It was a new day.